Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Combermary people.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Christy Kijarina. It's Thursday, February 22. In Squiz Kids Today, Super Rugby gets smart, a zesty festival in France, a toy car hits the track, and a swift satire. That's what's making news, kids style.
The Lowdown.
Do you play footy or hockey, or have you ever tried boxing? If the answer's yes, you'll know that before you jump into action, you need to pop in your mouthguard, right? And guess what? When this year's Super Rugby competition kicks off tomorrow, players are getting a super cool upgrade to their mouthguards to help keep them safe while playing the sport they love. In case you haven't worn one, a mouthguard is a chunky piece of plastic that's molded to your teeth and jaw and sits inside your mouth, covering your teeth. Kind of like when you bite down on an orange quarter so the skin is covering your teeth and you end up with a big orangey smile. We've all done that, right? And while these new smart mouthguards still protect your teeth, they're extra special because they have tiny computers inside that can tell how fast you're moving, where your head is, and if you bump into something a little too hard. If a player gets a big head knock, the mouthguard sends a Bluetooth message to a computer off the field telling the team's doctor to check if everything's okay with the player's head. And these mouthguards won't just be worn on game days, but players will have them in during training as well, so the team doctors can keep an eye on their health and well-being. It's all about playing hard, having fun, and staying safe all at the same time.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in southern France, in the region of Menton to be precise. Situated on the French Riviera and close to the border with Italy. You might expect to see some holidaying Hollywood types there, but instead we found lemons and lots of them. Menton was once one of the top citrus-producing regions in all of Europe and for the past 90 years has hosted an annual lemon festival. The festival will use 140 tons or 500,000 lemons to build floats and statues for over 200,000 visitors to see. But this year there's a twist. Because in just 155 days, the 2024 Olympic Games commences in Paris. And Menton has adopted an Olympic theme for its festival. Putting in 3,000 hours of work, the people of Menton have constructed a giant lemon-covered statue of the ancient Greek goddess of victory, Nike. There are floats of giant lemony rowers and wrestlers, and my personal favourite, a swimmer doing butterfly. Yep, there's a link to it in the episode notes. And here's the juicy part. After the festival, all those lemons won't go to waste. They'll be sold off, probably making enough lemonade to fill a few swimming pools. So, no sour faces about food waste here.
Believe it or not.
Did you ever have one of those ride-on toy cars when you were really little? Maybe it's been handed down to a sibling now. Well, one engineering student in Germany never quite got over his love of his little red ride-on car and has modified his to take out the Guinness World Record for the world's fastest ride-on toy car. They have an award for everything, don't they? After 10 months of research and modification, Paul finally took his tiny electric vehicle to the Hockenheim Ring racetrack to test it out. And how far did he get it up to, I hear you ask? 50 kilometres an hour? 100 kilometres an hour? No, a whopping 148.45 kilometres an hour. That's faster than the 88 miles per hour needed to travel back in time in the Back to the Future movies. Definitely do not try this one at home, kids. Apparently, that's what university's for. And yep, there's a link to video in the episode notes.
Newshounds.
Every Thursday, Squiz-E the Newshound sticks his snout into Squiz Kids HQ to report back on fishy things he's sniffed out on the internet. And this week, his nose is a-twitchin' because he's come across some more fake news about his favourite pop princess, Taylor Swift. Last week, we heard that Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Travis Kelce, was part of the winning team in America's football grand final, the Super Bowl. So you'd expect there'd be a big celebration, right? But one website announced that Taylor and Travis had paid more than $5 million to rent out Disney World for the day. Do you smell anything fishy? It turns out that the site that made this announcement, Mousetrap News, is a well-known satire website. Satire is a form of writing that uses humour, irony and sarcasm to poke fun at people and organisations. The website makes it very clear that they, quote, write 100% made-up stories for your enjoyment, unquote. But it seems from the comments and shares on their TikTok account that many people missed the memo and read and spread this news as if it was true, which then makes it misinformation. Showing yet again why we need to stop, think and check before believing everything we see, read and hear online. Because even though it would be cool if it were true, it is unfortunately not. Thanks, Squiz-E, you've done it again.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. How many days is it until the Paris Olympic Games starts? Nice work if you said 155. Question number 2. What top speed did Paul's modified electric car get up to take out the Guinness World Record? It was 148.45 kilometres per hour. I'll accept 148. Question number 3. What is the name of the type of humour used by the Mousetrap News website? Great work if you remembered it is satire.
Shout outs.
It's February 22, National Walk Your Dog Day, a day that was started to remind pet owners how important walking their dogs are for the dog's mental and physical health. And it probably doesn't do us pet owners any harm either. So what are you waiting for? It's also a special day for these Squiz kids celebrating a birthday today. Annie from Vermont South, Leo from Eltham North, Abby from Mount Pleasant, Hazel from Murdner, Mivan from Wollongong, Kayla from Ocean Grove, and Benji and Angus from North Ainslie. Classroom shoutouts today go to Class GR6 and Miss Shani at Aldinga Beach Primary School, Class 3B and Miss Burgess at Blaney Public School, Class 5-6 Barty and Mrs Buckholtz at Lura Public School, Class F3 and Mrs Lanello at Hammond Park Primary School, Class 2R and Mrs Graham at Redham House in Sydney, Miss Perry's class at Berwick Lodge Primary School, and lastly, but definitely not leastly, to Class 5W and Miss West at Middle Harbour Public School. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back tomorrow with the Kids vs. Adults Weekly News Squiz. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.